All right, welcome everyone. Let's quickly do a recap of where we were last time so that you can catch up those who didn't make it last time.
We're on a boat.
Everyone who didn't make it last time's in the brig.
I'm beginning to think it's just us, though. I think everyone else got sold off to the flesh eaters or whatever the heck they are.
That's an interesting theory. We'll see what happens.
Oh no. I lent them some
Where
things.
did that Goliath guy go? I haven't seen him since,
What's in this soup?
You'd have to ask Cookie.
And me.
Barley, you know, a little bit of
Not
beef,
me.
vegetables, a lot of
Beef?
potato. A lot of potato.
Where did we get the beef from?
Town.
Okay, so before we left, I acquired enough food for about 90 days for 30 men, which since we figured out it was about a month journey, I figured a month there, a month back, a month extra. Did some research and found out mostly we need to worry about water and potatoes with enough other things to keep it tasty.
And keep us from malnutrition.
And of course, I can make it tasty, but
Right. The flick of the wrist.
He has that, magic sauce.
So what's the secret ingredient?
Happiness.
happiness.
Anyway, we're on a crystal sphere. Maybe. In a crystal sphere.
Yes, the last session at the end, you guys entered a crystal sphere and discovered a planet that you were told to go to rescue this maiden. Do you remember the maiden's name or any other details?
Yes. Her name is Manda.
That was Yonda.
She was captured by cultists, and by getting her back, we'll be able to avert some kind of natural disaster, hopefully. I'm not sure where the disaster is, or why they captured the druid, or who even controls this planet. So I'd be hesitant to, I don't know where we dock or how we land or anything like that on a planet. I assume the captain will handle that, but
I was going to say, I guess it's good that you have someone who's in charge of the ship then.
Well, there is the lifeboat thing, or whatever they took us to that stupid goblin rock with.
Hey, that stupid goblin rock got you some money and some XP. And a bit of crazy adventuring.
You almost got all of us killed multiple times.
Wait,
No. That was yourselves.
really?
Really, I blame the dice.
I blame the goblin shooting arrows at me.
With a shield that they don't normally have.
Those are trained goblins. Come on, seriously?
Anyway,
So,
I like to think that I'm on deck as we go through in awe.
are you like the thing on the front of the ship to decorate it? What's the name of it?
I'm certainly not the ornament or whatever it is.
That's what I was saying. Like you're up there with the ornament, just like hanging out over it, doing the stupid Disney movie pose on the front of the ship.
I am most certainly not, because I am still.
Afraid of the water.
Oh, the SSC dragon. Ooh. I'm not quite that daring, even if I can fly. I'd probably be up here, up at the front, but
Okay.
He's secretly afraid of the water.
Which water?
I don't think we're in water. It's just the map shows It's water.
Yeah. It's basically purple gas you float through till you enter the crystal sphere, and then it's just nothingness.
Already in the crystal sphere.
You are. That's why I said nothingness. It's just
We're
black.
still in space. We're not in the planet yet.
Oh, I thought we were in the planet. Okay.
Nah, we left off last time circling the planet.
What's keeping the oxygen on the ship?
Say that again?
What's keeping the atmosphere on the ship?
It's an excellent question. Did you read up the materials I told you to read?
How?
I sent you the Spelljammer PDF and
Yeah,
said that.
they can't open.
Okay. Well, I thought you could read PDFs, but
That would have been a good detail to know that
yeah, that he can't open PDFs. That would be very helpful to know. He could actually open them in a browser, but
I have read it in my spare time, and it's fascinating because apparently we make our own. Any sufficiently large object captures its own atmosphere
a little
in
bit.
space. Even dragons, apparently.
Yep.
Also,
Now,
we don't die immediately if we're thrown off the boat.
right. You have a, what is it? It's a few minutes of time, maybe a couple hours at most. And after that, yeah, you'll suffocate and die. But it does give you some time to float about in the nothingness before you die. Now, if you know the really old sci-fi movies, it's kind of like how you saw them not have helmets on in outer space.
Yeah.
Sorry, the map wasn't loading for me, so I exited out and came back in. And I tried direct connecting to your IP that you had given us before.
It changes every
I
time.
tried to someone else.
Yep.
Who was also hosting the game,
Awesome.
and it had no password on it.
That's funny.
So I took a screenshot of the game they were playing, and I left.
Nice. No, I always password protect.
I was just like, huh, this is why we
What are the
password
chances
protect.
of that?
I know, right? I was yeah, I was entertained.
Yes,
I have
Steam.
made friends with this Nate person on Steam, and I just joined his game directly.
And it's a Star Wars game, too.
Nice. Steam and Tabletop Simulator will change the IP that you use for the game every time. So,
But that given IP address and that port got me into someone's game is still...
it's quite amusing. Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Alright, anyhow. I stuck that screenshot in Discord.
They,
We're on a boat.
We're on a boat.
so, you guys are circling the planet, preparing to go down. Is there any last minute preparations?
And the planet looks like it's having like atmospheric disturbances.
Oh, the atmosphere is totally covered over. You can't actually see the ground. And it's like tons of storms and craziness going on.
So, Captain, since we're newbies out here, what do we actually know about this planet? Is this the one you have traveled to before, perhaps?
Nope, I know nothing about this one. It'll be a real adventure. Let me know when you boys are ready. We'll go down and drop you off.
Great.
I go
Well,
make...
yeah, when no one's gone before.
What time of day is it?
Are you on a planet to tell the time of day?
No, but our ship has been keeping day-night cycles.
No.
I've been serving like 3 meals a day, so there ought to be some sense of that.
There's hours
Which
counted.
wave are we on?
How many meals have you served today? You could probably actually decide this on your own.
What time is it?
Pick a number between 0 and 3, and that's what time it is.
We already said second meal. Come on, John. Okay.
Apparently, we've served our second meal. James, take the call. All right. Let us go.
So, Captain, what's the plan on this one as far as how long you're going to wait for us? Considering when we were left on the Goblin Rock, we were told we had a week, but we were only given 1 day's worth of rations.
Well, I figured you guys would either die or find more.
Right.
I'm now internally questioning how much the captain actually knows about goblins. Emrakul? Yeah, that was it. Emrakul.
Actually, he's quite familiar with goblins. He just also knows that that location that you had invaded was a storage depot. And if you'd gone a few other rooms over, you would have found a room of actual storage goods that were being prepared to be sent out to the rest of the Green Consortium of orcs. And so they had to have a little bit better food than goblins, because they don't... the orcs and goblins and hobgoblins don't all appreciate the same delicacies. The orcs and hobgoblins will require slightly more refined goods to eat than the goblins.
Except their stuff is not edible by humans.
Hobgoblins and orcs? Are you sure?
Probably.
Either way, we're
Either way.
derailing what we want to actually do is go down to
Right.
the planet.
As for how long we'll wait there, we're going to see if we can find a location to just drop anchor, let you guys off, and stay there. But it depends on what the storms actually are like down there, etc. If nothing else, we'll give you guys a messaging stone that connects with one that Gare has, and then you'll be able to message him, and we'll come pick you up at a designated location if we can't stay down on the surface.
Understood.
Just be kind enough and tell us you all died if you do, which I hope you don't. The last thing I need is to lose more crew.
So I would assume you would want some sort of check-ins, like daily.
That would be appreciated, yes.
Does anyone have a spell for that?
We were just told
The-
they have a message.
If he has to leave, he'll give you a stone that you can use to communicate.
Very well then.
Is Rory going with us?
No, Gary's staying on the ship, and that's why he has the other stone. The stone allows you to communicate to him,
Sending
Right.
stone.
and then he relays to the captain. So,
We're not going to find out anything else up here.
Gary and I would like to know which of you is going to be the captain of this little squad.
I nominate Cookie.
A wise decision. We need a leader.
Cookie.
He seems least likely to get us all killed.
that sounds encouraging. Least likely to get us all killed. Okay. Sure.
You guys see Rio dozing off in the corner, not paying attention.
Who?
Rio.
Rio? Is he alright? Alright.
We won't know.
I completely ignore this, having already not chosen Rio as the leader. And I would suggest it's like, well, I don't have any leadership experience, but you were in the military, right, Cookie?
Yes.
So some that might have rubbed off.
Then
Well, I definitely want all of us to come back alive.
See,
Yay.
this is what I'm talking about.
that's a good start.
Yes, very good start. Keep it
At
up.
at the very least, you among all of us here most likely knows how to handle ourselves, handle a small group like this in order to keep things going, flowing.
All right. So, we gotta find out. Gosh, all we know is that some cultists have. How do we find cultists? And how do we? Who knows how to investigate stuff? Because we are gonna
Walked
need to
on.
ask some
There's gonna
questions.
be a huge golden sign saying
Huge
cultists.
cultists.
Put a sign out there. It's like thieves hideout.
Yeah. Wanted. Apply within.
I
Hey,
really
maybe-
doubt that. I've never seen thieves do that. Except
Maybe
in
you-
poorly written fiction novels.
Maybe we should look at trying to join the cult.
How?
Well, we would generally have to adhere to whatever the cultists are culting. Which
Yeah.
is probably not a good idea,
Hmm.
considering they abducted someone.
Oh, to lose your arm, sacrifice yourself. Ah!
Yeah, cultists are also known for things like that. These might be a group that they decide we're going to cut off our left arm.
It's not so much.
Well,
the left
well
arm
then we
thing,
won't cut
it's-
off our left arms, and then the fight will be easier because they only have right arms.
That's the spirit. Ah,
Oh boy.
We just need minor illusion to make it look like we cut off our left arm.
and do you have that?
No. Me spells? I don't get that to level 3.
How close are you to level 3?
Not. How close are you to level 3?
But absolutely in
no.
character, Fleok has no idea how to approach or find cultists.
That's
In
okay.
character, I don't
We'll
know
do a
either.
general search around, probably the same way we looked for information the last time.
Bar.
But it will be a kind of skill challenge. We'll have to figure out how to find stuff.
Yeah.
I could try putting on a performance and seeing if anyone has, but I don't know that a
We don't even
performance-
know if there's like we're gonna be able to dock new civilization, or perhaps the notes gave a more general idea about where the cultists would be.
Yeah. Well, so I've been rather
Okay.
nomadic in my history. So I've seen lots of different people. And I've seen that cultists tend to keep by themselves. They don't tend to intermingle with others.
Okay. Good call. So what can
So
we be? We have to
secluded.
have a purpose.
We're treasure hunters, obviously.
We're treasure hunters searching for cultists. That's not a good story. We could be, above board of we're trying to rescue a girl and stuff, but
Well, the girl is the treasure we're looking for.
True, but still.
we could try to be something else, we could be a band of sorts if you like. I heard someone else had an instrument. What was it?
I do. I have a lute.
Well, the two of us can play.
I like to loot.
Funny. Are we the only people with instruments?
We guys got the instruments.
An instrument of wood.
Uh-huh.
Fire. Fire's always a good thing.
Except in the Phlogiston, just when it's bad.
Hey,
no.
we don't say fire. Here you go. Fire. Here you go. Tell me what I want to know. Fire.
Characters not listed. They're not loaded here.
Yeah, they're not
What-
loaded.
What do you mean?
Our figurines. I was trying to remember what Brian is playing.
I'm a dwarf.
He's playing a warlock.
Okay, you're a warlock.
I'm an artificer.
Oh,
I've got the boom boom
that
stick,
guy.
the thunder cannon.
Yes. No
Basically, I've
subtlety.
already resigned myself to be to try and tank? Question
No.
mark?
Now, I have passed all of my checks for crafting while we're on our ship with high marks. So I've got a bayonet affixed in the end of my thunder cannon now.
Huh.
So
Okay.
that might be helpful for quieter encounters.
Does is Ryan muted because
Yes.
he doesn't want to make noise? But he can hear us.
Yes.
That's good.
He's typing in. He said that she is a pale elf-like warlock
Ah,
who's not leading this expedition.
okay. So, does our she elf play an instrument?
Ding 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 ding
A lot of
ding,
elves
ding.
like flutes and stuff. I don't know.
When I shove a fiddle into her hands.
I do indeed enjoy the sweet sound of Eldritch Blast when it actually hits the opponent.
The screams are
Which, if I
torture.
remember right, hasn't been very often.
Fair enough.
No offense.
All right.
Have you all gone and looked at the crew quarters? Have you seen the picture of the captain with the mustache on
I have.
it?
He's a little disturbing.
What do you mean?
Go look in the crew quarters.
It's the picture of Captain Dread, who was apparently the former owner of this vessel.
I just stumbled upon that.
So, plan is if the instructions did not give a general location of the cultists, we would try and find a settlement and try and gain some information there. That
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
cool.
Because they would know where these strange people hide. Or they'd at least know that they might come for food occasionally and trade.
Or they kidnap their children, and then we can be mercenaries and do a second job while
Hey.
doing the first job and get double
Right.
paid and not have to tell the captain.
And we could elicit them to see help.
Oh.
Although Cleonk would actually never do that, so forget I even suggested it.
I would.
He would save the people. He might even take the reward, but he would also tell the captain.
I mean,
Hey,
if I
so
was the captain, we did this, but
Welcome back.
Welcome
all right. So
Kept out of the loop.
what you don't know can't hurt you.
it's actually not completely true because what I don't know can hurt you.
Really?
So what's the plan?
The plan is to. They've elected me as leader. The plan is to try to find information on the cultists to see. Not entirely sure, how well known they are, if they're like, the mob boss in town, or if they're just a secret society. Don't really know how to pass us off as a group. I'll probably end up playing around,
You might have been
being a bard.
a bit.
You can always try to browse some taverns.
But basically, we assumed that the job description did not give a good location for the cultists. If it did, then we're considering going. If not, we're going to try and find a settlement and try and get information.
Okay. So the game plan is to locate a settlement to attempt to get information from about.
You cut
Where
out.
are the cultists?
And he completely cut out on us. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry about that. The headset decided it wanted to act up. Give me just a second.
Please hold. Your call is important to us.
I hate it when the headset decides to do that.
Okay. So the game plan is to find a settlement and try to find out information on the cultists or Manda.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you remember anything about the cultists?
No, I did not record any details about them other than that they are cultists.
And that they're here.
They had a name. Cultists of...
Well
And
then,
they actually had a group
Do a
that they
history
were...
check.
I guess now would be a good time to double check the video.
We need all our players to roll a memory check.
History check?
No, memory. Which apparently everyone rolled a natural one for remembering.
I told you I didn't write it down, so
I know.
It's only been a month and a half since you actually told us the cult. And I didn't
I
write it
know.
down either.
But I will tell you. Shoturak. Shoturak. I'll paste it in the chat.
That's probably why I didn't remember it.
The cultist of Shoturak.
okay. That'll give us a start.
So, gentlemen, then I'm assuming that Rio is still dozing off in the corner. This gentleman.
Apparently it's just gentlemen for now. The elf is off dozing.
Yes.
Well, sure spoke up to talk to us for a bit.
So, I would
Jaffa-
suggest we try and
Jaffa
be.
Cree? What Jaffa Cree?
Who's Jaffa Cree?
Macaulay's talking. What does Rio say?
Focus.
Thanks.
I would suggest we try and be a little bit discreet about not necessarily name dropping this unless we absolutely have to. Perhaps we can look for some sort of map of the world and try and find a location called Shotorok. Maybe mention places to ask, it's like, hey, we're explorers, we're trying to, we just came across this crystal sphere, we want to see, awesome places to go, places we should absolutely avoid.
Because I'm sure they're all very familiar with your type of people, because you were all very familiar with spacefaring people.
No, I mean he's got some good points. Places to
Yep.
avoid, things to see.
Although
Nice.
they might not know,
Rob us.
spacefaring people like us. So
Oh.
a walking, talking bird might throw them off too. But Cleon wouldn't know anything better about that.
Well, we'll deal with that when it comes, I guess.
And to answer Ryu, it can dock or land depending on the circumstances. They may just hover above the ground as well to drop you guys off via ladder. All right. Anything else? We're ready to land.
I'm ready to land.
All right.
Splat.
The gentleman's DM's table is loading.
Dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Did you somehow load myself and L4 on top of each other?
Did I what?
Because our names are on top of each other on this board.
Not on my screen.
Oh, there they are, separate now. Weird.
Yeah, I did it for me too while we were still loading.
All right. So, as you guys come in to land, you do find What's innate for?
Nothing.
You see ground and you see storms. You see off in the distance there's a few areas that look to have some sort of building structures. But it is hard to see anything because it is fairly dusty and the weather is just terrible. Dust storms, lots of lightning. It is just a devastated death world, it looks like.
Would light help us see better?
No. Because it's too dusty. It's not as though it's just dark, it's dusty.
Oh,
It might help a little bit, but you know how like when you're driving in a really foggy night, you have to be careful with your lights? It's that sort of thing.
Ah, darn.
Could I get my?
I would say finding a settlement would be actually pretty difficult condition.
Well, if we can see anything, then there is a settlement here, guys. Let's just walk to it.
Yeah,
You see a few more like structured than natural looking things, but
That's a promising place to start.
it may just be weathered rocks that are in that shape. You don't know. There's kind of flat areas and there's a few areas that seem to have some sort of hills, bumps. Some of them seem to be more squared off than the others.
Yo, wake up. Come on, let's go.
But I was having such a nice nap. Alright.
I didn't take the sudden awakening spell, or I could just wake you.
It's called the soup
Bravo.
dish. Hot.
No, thunderclap it to the head works pretty well.
Isn't that boot to the head?
Sure.
Whichever one works.
Yay, my character's loaded now.
I will say the table is lagging quite a bit for me.
Interesting, because it wasn't last week.
Yeah, it's lagging a lot. It might be... I don't know, your sound's cutting out a lot, too.
It's saying I have good connection for the voice, and nothing should be downloading right now.
I can move Hero.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's really anything going on, so I don't know why it would be bad connection on my end. Let me restart my headset, because sometimes that acts funky when it decides to cut out on me.
Okay.
You shall not pass. Thump.
Alright,
Hit
is
Grub.
that better?
Well, it's fine for now.
Okay.
We'll see.
I think it actually is a little bit better. Not great, but it does seem better.
You just started to echo, Mark. Of all the ironies.
Yeah.
It's fun. Alright, so you've located your character, so you're good to go. Anything else? Are you guys ready?
We're ready.
Perception checks from everyone to see if any of you can get anything more than vague shapes. Emrakul tosses Cookie the stone, and they take the ship back up, because it obviously is getting damaged staying down here too long.
Okay.
I think I can see some shit.
Yeah.
Perception. 3. Alright, come on, come on.
Well, I kind of beat you a little bit with that one.
All this dust is getting my eyes.
Oh, it's a little dust. You're
Cookie forgot his cooking utensils on the boat and is distracted by that apparently.
I got a 14.
I'm used to dust from all the mining and working with in the workshop.
Hmm.
That's nothing.
Yeah, so far you're the one who's rolled well.
Great.
I stare out.
What's
into the
wrong with you
dust.
guys?
What do you mean?
Okay.
I don't have
So-
goggles, Mr. Artificer.
He doesn't either.
Just have a bandana.
I'm just he's probably got a welding mask. Anyway,
What's welding?
Clay.
So, Yanaven, you see one area that seems to have some smoke going a different direction than the rest of the planet, which would kind of indicate fire.
I grab Cookie and I align him with where I'm seeing it. And just like throw up
Cookie, you feel Yanaven grab you and line you up towards this random hill
right there.
off in the distance.
Okay.
He says smoke right there. You see no smoke. You just see a hill.
All right. Well, let's go.
Very fuzzy, but just looks kind of like a hill thing.
We're gonna go. If how far can we see clearly?
Maybe 30 to 60 feet. It kind of depends at,
Okay.
the time.
That's fine. We can walk at normal pace if we can see that far.
Yeah. Antonio!
It's not like a solid sheet of dust, but it is, you keep having to shun your eyes and block them.
Anybody have vest?
So,
No.
No.
All right.
Hey Cookie, have you ever
Yeah.
been a dust storm in the army? Did you walk in a certain formation as to make sure you're walking straight?
Um. Can I see any landmarks? That's a really good point.
I'm assuming when we left the ship that we were given the rendezvous, probably the place we landed.
you were given a stone to communicate back.
Okay.
Can anybody see a landmark from this location?
There's
Nope.
that hill, right?
There's a number of landmarks that are hill things, mounds, shapes, but nothing that is super distinct.
Thank you for giving that idea. I'm going to hold here. I pound a piton into the ground. I walk 30 feet in the location that I was described.
I
And
make sure
pound
he's lined up.
a second piton in the ground.
It's slightly off, but fairly close.
Okay.
And all right, come on. We'll just put one about every 30 feet until I run out of pittons, I guess.
Probably
See how far
fairly
it takes.
fast. Can we just go back and pull the previous one up?
I guess we don't need to know where we came from, right?
I mean, how long
Don't
is it
know.
been?
What would happen if the sand was melted?
If
Would
the
there be any kind of-
sandals melted, what?
Would there be any kind of check to try and walk?
Give me just a second.
Don't eat random mushrooms.
No. There's yes and no, but if you can't get your bearing off of something, you're in trouble.
You
Picking a tree or something and walking towards it, but just walking, you're not gonna get in a straight line in these conditions. I mean, I've got enough pittance for 900 feet, and if you saw anything, we should be able to get closer to it. So I say we just go about every 30 feet, pop a piton in the ground.
how big
Works.
are these? Are you gonna be able to find them?
Well,
Your
if we can
fleet
see
of-
30, 60 feet at a time, we should be able to find him. Yeah.
Depends what the terrain looks like, though.
Okay, sorry about that. What were you saying?
Anyway, it seems like the simplest solution, based on our visibility, is to drop a pit in every 30 feet or so. We can look back and check that we're in a straight line. So that's what we do. That'll last us about 900 feet. We'll see.
Keep in mind that even doing so, you can actually veer off slightly, especially over a long distance.
Sure.
I'll stay at the rear. I'll stay at the first mark.
At the first mark, you're
well,
going to
I'll-
stay at the origin point?
I'll stay 60 foot behind, so I'll stay
Oh, okay.
one extra point and give left and right guidance based on where I see the smoke.
Okay. Good call.
So Yonovan's going to hang back and kind of give guidance.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys all start marching on then, I guess.
I hope this planet isn't one big desert.
Give me just a moment here.
I want to test flying a little bit.
Don't fly too far. And is it windy?
It is
More
windy.
like seeing if I can. More than...
Roll a... What is it? Athletics.
All of us?
Athletic.
Or him. Okay, it's fine.
No, I don't. 2D1.
You're a monk. You ought to have athletics.
Jeez.
20.
You're able to manage, but you can definitely tell it's a lot harder with the amount of wind.
And I land.
Okay.
Test flight completed.
I hate this planet.
Why do you hate the planet?
Because I can't. Because flying is hard. I feel like I've had my wings clipped. All this dust.
I would think it'd add, weight to our wings too, though.
Huh. You made it look easy.
Because I think, when you're flying it, you get more dust into the wings and make it heavier.
It's
Might have
not
to do
so
another
much
flight.
that, it's that it's basically he's being sandblasted as he tries to fly.
Windy.
Flying in
Okay.
wind is no problem. It's the sand blasting that makes it much difficult.
Yeah, so it'd be the same problem with me then. Damn it. Ugh.
And I'm assuming that trying to get a higher altitude doesn't actually help any vision problems I would have because, yay, dust.
And also,
Yay.
lightning.
Oh, lightning would be fun.
Lightning doesn't do any damage, does it?
It can kill you.
I was being sarcastic.
I'm certain there's some way to become immune to lightning damage, but I am not immune to lightning damage. So.
You've just become a lightning rod. Fly up, get us.
Yeah, but the problem with a lightning rod that's in the sky is that the lightning still has to come to the ground.
Anyway, shall we continue marching on?
Sure.
Do the marching order.
It's up to you. If you guys want to keep going, we can keep going.
So what else do we...
We'd either wait for the storm
I
to pass.
would-
Stop in the storm and get sandblasted and run out of rations and laugh yourselves to death.
I would like to continue marching on and continue marching until we have a reason to stop.
Okay. After quite a few hours. You realize your pace is really slowed, so it shouldn't have taken as long, but getting sandblasted and every so often, knocked around by an extra gust kind of hinders the trip. You finally start coming up on a little area you see is kind of like a small walled off town. And it doesn't look very nice. It looks very scrappy,
Does it look
like it's thrown together. No, it looks more like refugee camp.
okay?
Scraps have been used to try to hobble together some sort of village.
Is there one building that looks bigger than the other?
There's a few varying heights, but nothing very tall. The tallest you see is like maybe a 3-story building.
Any significantly larger, not necessarily a height, but like person capacity.
Any buildings?
Yeah.
There's a lot of buildings that look like they could fit people, but what is it you're trying to look for?
Like a town hall or a bar.
Okay. Since you're not above looking down, it's hard to see
Okay.
necessarily that big of a size difference.
We're not even actually in the town yet. Probably.
No.
Right. So, talk about what you guys want to do. I need to quickly run another errand. It'll just take a minute. Family stuff.
Okay, well, this is a ramshackle town. We
Oh,
want to just find a place to stay. Sounds like the priority with this crazy weather and
I would say priority 1B amongst that is to try and procure equipment to help us better either navigate or protect us from these elements. Because we are very unprotected and we're probably going to get laughed at for why you on this planet without, sand cloaks stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great point.
Yes, that'd be
Yes,
good.
we should definitely go to this town and rob some people.
Not rob them. I mean,
I mean, trade
no.
with them, exploit them.
hopefully not be robbed in the process.
Interesting series of goals there, sir.
I think we should, number one, perhaps not.
Don't try to kill
This
them
is
all.
this is a ramshackle town, so
Right.
we don't necessarily want to look like we have money.
Well, we don't have money, so it's good.
You don't have any money?
But we're
Well, we have
outfitted.
some, but relatively speaking, we are not wealthy.
Correct.
I didn't say we'd have to be wealthy. We might be wealthy compared to them.
Right.
And if they had proper sand gear, I don't know if we could afford it.
I wouldn't worry about that right now. We don't have enough information about what's, the inhabitants of the town. If it's even inhabited, well, I guess there's smoke, so it's
I
growing.
like we know the smoke again.
Well, if they were attacked, maybe that's all.
So our plan is to go in
Find a place to stay, gain
find a place to
information,
stay.
and then also procure equipment to help us survive the element.
Well, let's find out if this happens all the time too. A weather report would be nice.
It would indeed.
What the report is, it's sandy.
Windy, stormy, sandy. So, let's have Cookie roll a perception. You're in the front.
Yes. I perceive there is a cat in my lap.
Please keep them away from me.
No, Cookie, you do not.
Please keep
You're
them
walking.
away
How
from
could a
me.
cat be in your lap?
He's quite a few miles away from you, sir.
I look nervously around me.
The cat jumps on your lap. Ow!
Yanovan,
Yes.
roll deck save.
Shit.
Dex saves. Great.
Okay. Now I need Cleok Not Cleoc. Talon to roll a dex save.
Give me a second.
He knows I'm likely good at dex saves, and thus.
Yeah.
No, both your races start with an A, so I went to the first A for the race and got the wrong one.
$16.
Okay. So, Jonovan, you hear the noise and duck, and the cat goes flying over you and is heading right for his face, but he's able to dodge out of the way, and the cat dodges off somewhere.
Okay.
To be fair, this isn't the tradition of our games.
I mean, I approached him before we started this game and told him that I asked if I could have a cat, but it wouldn't be my choice. It was a curse from previous dealings. So.
I would love to have it
That's
be.
interesting.
So I don't have a
not
familiar. I have a cat that won't leave me alone.
maybe not love it, but like every time the cat is mentioned, Nate rolls a d20, and on like a 1 or 2 or something, the cat attacks. So as long as we don't mention the cat will never appear. In which he just now rolled like 4 d20s. Anyway, anything else from those deck saves?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
You guys finally come up to the town. John?
Yes.
That's a noisy little thing. Oh, that's Shatter. Sorry.
Yes.
Cookie.
Yes.
Your group looks at you weird because you seem to have missed the fact that there's a sign above the town with a name.
Huh. This town has a name. What's it say?
What's it? What language is it in?
Aethys, or Ethos, or...
Is it in a language that we can read?
It's common because we're playing D&D and everything's in common. Unless it's obviously not because it's a different race.
Yes.
Which were in space, so...
Don't
Anyway.
you love that? If you're white Caucasian, you speak common. If you're orc, you speak orc. It doesn't matter what planet
No.
you grew up
It
on.
doesn't actually matter white Caucasian.
Right.
If you're human, you speak common.
Speak common.
Anyway,
Star Trek logic.
we entered the town, I assume.
The gates are shut. How do you enter?
Knock.
We're not, you can't cast level 2 spells yet.
Is there a doorbell?
Nope.
Is there a knocker?
Nope.
I try to look. How does the door open?
Uncertain?
Indeed.
Hey, I have a staff.
It looks like it may open
Would you
in,
knock on-
since you don't see ground scratches on the outside.
Huh.
I look at it to see where the hinges are.
Hey, Cookie. I walk
Yeah.
up to it and bang on it a few times with my staff.
Jonovan, that was a good idea. There is no hinges.
Interesting.
The hinges are on the inside flush so that they can't be hit.
Could you scale the wall?
Possibly, it would be very hard.
I could fly up there, but it would be, I believe it is considered rude to enter unannounced. So perhaps try yelling?
Hey! Hello in there!
Who goes there?
Travelers! We've been in this storm. Need to seek refuge.
You hear this, like, horrifying sound of, like, screeching, scraping metal. And then you see the sun seems to get blotted out more than it already was. And behind your party lands this large 20-foot automaton.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Wait, he jumped behind us?
Well, he is a 20-foot automaton, so yeah, he did.
Great.
Examine the automaton. What is
I
it? Is it
I
friendly?
instinctively step back.
Yep.
I would step back too.
I stand behind our fearless leader, Cookie.
Cookie, apparently your whole group wedges in behind you and bumps you forward.
I never said push him forward, but yes, I took a step back.
But if everyone takes a step back behind him,
I'm forward.
then by default there would be too much space. It would be crammed and bump him forward.
Hello, the robot, sir.
Do you even know what a robot is?
No.
Calling it an automaton. Whatever. It's common.
Fair enough.
Whatever the word is, I used it.
Okay.
Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here?
We're here because we want some shelter from this storm, if possible.
Not used to answering questions from a robot. Very well.
We are humble travelers.
I love how we shut
Not
the
that humble.
front.
When standing in front of this guy, I'm pretty humble.
We are explorers. We're new to this area. We are unprepared. We are wondering if you could provide some shelter for us, albeit temporarily.
Possibly. Why are you here and what do you seek?
I vote forthright.
Alright. We're seeking a lost lady. We heard that she was here, and we don't know where to start looking for her.
Very well. You will be permitted to enter on one condition.
Yes?
You guys see a section of the automaton open up and make like a ramp down to the ground. And you see it looks like this little, I don't know, 5-year-old or 10-year-old girl, somewhere between there, step out and walk down. Once she gets close enough, you're like, oh, it's not a child, it's a halfling. And she's like, you cause any trouble, you answer to me, and I break your necks.
I'm assuming that this isn't actually a 5 or 10-year-old, but
You've seen halflings, you think it's probably a halfling.
We don't mean to cause trouble, miss.
understood. And I bow.
Very well. She gestures and the doors open.
I'm intrigued by this automaton as an inventor myself.
She heads back up into her lovely companion and seals up. You may enter.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Mobile Suit Gundam.
Something like
I need to go slap a dog. Give me just a minute.
very handy.
What,
Is that
slap a
code
dog?
for something?
No, it'd be difficult to haul that automaton through most places we're going, but it would be very nice to have it on hand. Maybe stuff it in a bag or something so we could bring it out. Make
Good luck.
one of those, but make it so it can be compacted.
I jot some notes down.
I'm thinking fairy tale thoughts.
I'm thinking level 5 thoughts.
That's right. You can make a thing, can't you?
Yes, I can.
Is it level 5 or 6?
I don't remember.
I still punch things at level 6.
You still
It's 'cause
punch
you're a
things at
monk.
level 6.
Level 6.
What level are you now?
It's level 6.
2.
Oh.
Kitty.
Alright, sorry, gents. Apparently, there's an ambulance outside the house and making the dogs go nuts.
Aw.
Just competing with James here.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to enter the town and hope it's, less dusty and windy.
It
Behind these
is.
walls.
The walls do provide a nice level of reduction in the amount of abrasiveness you have to put up with.
Sweet.
Now let's see some investigation checks and hope some of you can actually roll decent. By the way, Yonovan, what was that last roll for?
That was for looking for hinges
Okay.
that didn't exist. I totally was not going to put black powder on them.
No reason they'd be inside instead of outside and available, would there?
Anybody trained?
And what?
Well,
Investigation?
Macaulay rolled in
He's
the
in back.
17 to
Because whoever's trained in investigation will get inspired.
I used
It's
all
a
my
bit
good
late
checks.
considering we've
Yeah, we've all
only
done.
one person has not rolled.
You can use the investigation after the roll. Or the inspiration after the roll.
But it would be kind of bad to retcon. It's like, hey, you had the highest roll. You can have inspiration to add on top of it.
True.
No, I would have had to give it out beforehand.
Yeah.
And there's the last one.
Which
Wow. Yonovan, you get yourself just like lost trying to think about where you should look for advice and help on
I was
finding what you
thinking
need.
about that next writer's invention.
Exactly.
Mind wandered away.
Cookie and I believe it was Cleoc. Yeah. Get a little bit closer to home by finding a market and getting a little bit. Still not what you need. It looks like it, by the way, Cleoc. The only two who seemed to really be able to get any details were, sorry, Ryu and Talon. You two are able to finally find this old wizardy sort individual. And let's see. It was a really old elf female. She's at this place that kind of looks like a church in town. And she has a interesting design for her holy symbol, if you would. And she tells you that she was told why you were here. And yes, those you seek are a ways from here, a few weeks' travel.
Great.
And there's a few rangers in town who you could potentially locate and request help locating the location from.
Okay.
Because they know the area.
Alright.
Well, this is actually a really good place. I So this isn't a priest here of a. I look around. Is this a good church? Not like a Church of Satan or something, demon worship.
You don't know. It seems actually vacant.
Yes, but are there any decorations, anything at all?
No. The only thing you see is the symbol she has. In fact, you can see where there used to be one on the wall that looked the same, and it's been removed. The place is scrubbed clean, as though there's some problem with
Uh,
it existing almost.
Miss, I. Your church seems to, well, not to be quite much of a church right now.
Indeed, I'm hoping that you fine folks will assist in resolving that issue. Inadvertently.
Do uh, you know of whom we seek then?
Indeed.
We haven't really known who to trust around here, but it seems like you would have a vested interest in our little mission here. What's going on? How has your church fallen into disrepair?
Shotorak. And don't speak that name outside of here. Unless, of course, you prefer death.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Is that because the people here hate them, or is that because they're part of them?
Yes.
I cock my head to the side inquisitively.
What are they cultists of, per se?
Shotorak.
Yes, it's a word, but what else is it?
Who else? Who would you recommend hiring or talking to?
As I
Names,
said,
please.
there's a few
Rangers.
Do you
rangers
know
that know the
any
area.
rangers? Which
And
ones would you suggest?
I can think if there's a halfling. Her sister's kind of the main town guard, and her name is Rigel. And there's also a dwarfen individual with the name Thork.
And what's your name, miss?
Rigel.
I was giving you the names.
Okay.
My name is Nerui.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um. So, I take it these cultists sort of came into town and took over, and your church has lost influence? Something?
No.
No.
He appeared, or I guess it's not really he, it's it appeared on our planet and captured the individual you seek, caused this cataclysm, rendered our world this lifeless dust bowl you've found it, and purged all religion.
Oh, religion's outlawed. Okay. I we were told that we could stop a cataclysm or prevent one. Were we too late?
It would seem that way.
Well, how can Manda have prevented this disaster?
That I do not know.
Huh. Okay. Well, Is there a good place you may recommend we could find, outfitting for the sandstorms?
Those rangers would be the best to inform you on what you'll find on your trip. Now, do not mention your quest to anyone but them, or others that mention it to you,
Well, it seems
because
that
it
we
is.
were right to trust the town guard, but I didn't know.
Do not speak the name.
Yes, I get
We
it.
didn't really give
Speak
the
name.
guard much info though,
No, but
because
she
we
let
just
us
said we were
in,
looking for a woman,
lady.
a lady.
The only one who would understand more would have been the sage Athelgas, but he has not been heard from or seen in many, many years.
Hmm.
Do you have any idea what might have happened to him?
I do not know.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I would suggest we go meet a ranger.
Yes.
Where would you suggest we actually meet a ranger?
We were told that they're in this town, and I assume we're
In
given detailed instruction where those we can find.
You're told in town as to their exact location is uncertain because they aren't stationary sorts, hence rangers.
Fair enough.
well, I was asking if you might know they might have occasionally hang out more often than not.
One's a dwarf. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yes.
The halfling, at home or out in the wilds, or at a location getting what she needs.
How about this? What What good
You said halfling was a
excuse-
she, right?
I did?
Does she pilot a giant automaton?
No, her sister does.
Ah, nice.
Is there a since we're not supposed to speak of our quest to anybody, is there a good excuse we could tell people, hey, we're looking for some rangers? I just don't want to look suspicious or something. I don't know.
Well, we could talk to the guard because it's a
After
sister.
where her sister is?
Yes,
That's a pretty good
because
strategy.
here's the thing: is we told her we were looking for someone. A ranger might be able to help us find them. Hint, hint.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, she might know which the rangers are. We can find them and bring them up to speed if they're willing to join us.
Well, I say let's head to the tavern because, dang it, if I know a dwarf will be.
Yeah,
The dwarf.
Yanovan, how do you feel about that racism?
I mean, I want to go to the tavern.
See? It's all good.
There's solid
We're
logic.
gonna
in
be
it.
another.
I get the feeling this is going to be the worst tavern you've ever gone to, but very well. I'm following along.
I bid you all a farewell, and good luck on your quest.
Yes,
Thank you
I bow.
very much.
I courteously bow. Walk out the door.
I wave.
Cleoc, roll a perception.
Roll a perception. That's a thing I can do.
I hope so.
Just out of bad because I roll bad on my own. Oh, Never mind. I'm not using someone else's. I'm not using Macaulay's ever again.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Go ahead and roll a dex save.
I'm rolling a deck save.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll use my own roller.
You stumble over the hearth and manage to catch yourself. You then realize that Nerui is not there anymore.
Huh.
Cookie leads the way to what he feels is a tavern, since there's a nice image of a mug out front.
Cool.
I try and catch up to my companions. Question. Did you see Norway leave anywhere? I could have. I was the last one out of the room, and I didn't see where she went. She disappeared before I left.
No, I didn't see her leave.
Wow.
Someone's enjoying laughing.
Always did.
I rolled a 0 on a d20.
Impossible.
It means you didn't actually roll it.
You didn't tap the d20.
Look at it. It says total 0, which means there was nothing selected.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'd be.
Come on, you.
I'm a little concerned, but I'm not quite sure how. What to do about it.
Well,
Did I
hey.
see how she disappeared?
Well, if I had seen how she disappeared, I wouldn't have said she disappeared, right?
Rolling a
She was
Cookie.
there one.
Yes.
You see underneath the name, underneath the sign, you see a name, the Azure Flagon. Down the one of the what do you call it? Side streets, not side streets. Alleys, thank you. You hear some interesting noises of a bunch of drunken people and sounds of fists and face meeting each other. You see it's a fairly simple wood construction. What would you like to do?
Head on in.
Should we stop the
Sounds
fight?
like my kind of place. Let's drink.
We're not really looking to make a scene. I wouldn't necessarily interrupt. They're drunken and they're fighting.
So we lay him out.
So don't get punched. Bartender, drink please.
You go up to the bar and there's no one there. You say that, you hear a wooden stool scratch across the floor, and then you see a head pop up. You see a male halfling. Oi, what do you want?
Do you have any good rum?
Nope. Got beer, got cider.
A cider for me, please.
Spiked or flat?
Spiked.
There you are.
I'll have a spiked cider, make it a double.
There you are.
How much is that?
And
I'm
1 silver.
waiting for you to pick a currency that we don't have.
20 flankets.
Yeah. No, they chose to have it be the same on this planet.
What is
So
our
1
currency?
silver.
We have
Anyway,
Cookie. What currency do we have?
We've got gold and silver and copper.
Okay, so you have it with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, I would like to glance around the room looking for a female halfling or a male dwarf who would who I might, identify as potentially being a ranger.
Well,
Bartender, give me beer, please.
what did you want?
Beer.
Hey, there.
Thank you.
4 coppers.
Okay.
Are
And
there...
Cleoc.
Yes.
What were we saying? Cookie?
Go on.
Okay. You see there is a male dwarf. However, he doesn't seem to be so much the ranger-looking sort as a little bit more cookie-like than a ranger. A little bit more of the talking and instrument sort. You also see a female dwarf who seems to be fairly heavily armored with some fairly oversized weapons. You see a human who seems to be sketching in a book. You see a halfling.
Party.
You see a female halfling over with the dwarf as well. They seem to be a few that the people that would be working here. There is a female warrior who's arguing, or a female elf warrior sort that's arguing with the dwarf. She has much more smaller sized weapons and ranged weapon, and they seem to be arguing about something.
Well, I mean, these look like our kind of people.
And what was that for?
Almost certainly deception.
The bartender roars with laughter. Treasure hunting, I think you found the wrong part of the world to do that sort of stuff. You're gonna have a nice long trek ahead of you. I don't know any rangers here that want to go that far. Good luck with that, honey.
You go that far with what? What do you roll?
Alright. And with the elf and dwarf individuals who are a little bit more finely clothed, you also see a female elf as well. So there's a female elf, female halfling, and dwarven male. Dwarven male seems to be the individual who gets the drum. The halfling seems to be a singer of some sort, and the female elf seems to be on strings.
Huh.
Damn.
Alright.
Well, there's a bunch of people with instruments. I am going to crack out one and join in.
They're currently not playing as it seems to not be the peak hours. It's kind of not a lot of people, but there's a few.
Well, I'll still walk over and strike up a conversation. Musicians are friends.
Okay. And the rest of you?
Well, I went over and tried to be persuasive and I failed. Got pretty low.
I don't see anyone that meets the description, and I don't really wish to talk to people, so I go back outside.
Roll a deck save.
Who?
Cleoc, as he's going back outside.
Poor
Great.
Cleoc. He's having an interesting day.
Cleoc! You guys see Cleoc head out the door, and all of a sudden he goes flying backwards 10 feet and just lands on his butt. He looks up and he sees in his face a very dirty looking dwarf. Oi, watch where you're going, bud.
I get up, brush myself off. I step out of his way.
What are you doing in my bar anyhow?
Ah.
What's your
Sure.
profession, Mr. Dwarf?
He's the owner. You hear him?
He's the owner.
Oh, I'm sorry, my pet got in your way.
I'm a seeker. What's it to you?
A seeker of knowledge or what?
Usually things outside the walls.
Okay.
You wouldn't be Mr. Thork, would you?
Ah, you heard of me.
Yeah, we did.
Can I buy you a drink?
We have some business with you.
I'll always take drinks. And Ryug did get another drink. So yeah, Thork says he'll never turn down a drink.
Cool.
Even if he owns the bar,
He,
gets them all for free.
you get the feeling he doesn't own it. He just is a likely patron and possibly other.
Fair enough.
Just like Flint.
We is there any relative privacy in this bar?
No, not really.
Well, especially with the elf
I go up close to him,
hearing.
to the dwarf, and say, "We have some business with you, but to be a little bit private location."
Ah.
Us to find you.
There are no priestesses anymore. Think you're off your rocker. But what is this
We were sent
thing
to
you have regarding?
And I put my claw over Cookie and said, "Place more private. Maybe we later somewhere."
He walks out the door.
I follow. I'm gonna go ahead and make my
Okay.
death save.
Nope. You don't need to. You're good.
Walks through a door lately. We walk out.
Yeah.
Alright. So he brings you down the alley. Not a different one, but another one. It's like, alright, speak your piece. Let's make this quick. I got business to attend.
Alright, we were sent to rescue a druid named Manda who was supposed to prevent a great natural disaster, which apparently has happened anyway. I don't know if we're too late, but we were told by an old elven lady wearing some kind of holy symbol, I gather, in that church there that's been stripped clean,
They near
to
we.
find you. And that you might be able to take us there and it would solve a problem of hers.
I think you're mad and off your rocker, but I think I know the place you're looking for. For the right persuasion, I think I could accommodate you to that entrance.
I'm sure that we can help, and I'm sure that if we succeed, it will be in your own best interest.
That's what you think. I'm not inclined to necessarily agree with you or not. However, as I said, for the right metallic persuasion, I would be willing to guide you where you want to go.
Offers him 100 gold piece.
Do we have that much?
We do.
It's a lot.
Alright, I can do it for that, I guess. It's gonna be a 1 week journey, so get yourselves ready, and we'll leave at dawn.
Okay.
Any suggestions on where to buy some gear if possible? For a sandstorm?
As you may have noticed, we're not particularly well dressed for the elements.
Exactly. Go to market, tell them that you're going on an expedition with me. They'll help you get what you need, and then we'll meet up at the gates dawn.
Okay.
Next thing you tell us this is one of those planets with 3 suns and there's actually no dawn.
Don't give him ideas.
No, just one star. All right, we'll pick up there next week.
Okay.
Well done, guys. You made some good progress.
After I said
So
I
if
walked
we
out
had
the
got-
door, I immediately regretted not actually investigating where she went. I already said I walked out the door.
But you guys
It's all right.
This dwarf was in that fight. Probably. It's alright.
All right.